Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Jen Balco, founder of Always On My Way and creator and host of the Fierce Awakened Woman Global Online Summit. This is a virtual gathering of the brave and gentle-hearted who are following impulses for freedom, returning to the global village to share our gifts and inventing new ways forward for ourselves and for our communities. We are celebrating dynamic feminine grace and activating our grounded masculine courage so we can all be fierce, fun, and fantastic. Allow yourself to drop into this session with an open mind and an open heart. Feel into your sense of awareness and tap into your inner strength and wisdom. And get ready to leap into your enlightened, embodied, and expressive self as we connect and learn from others who have already sparked their joy journey. So as you settle in and begin to tune into what's present today, please join me in welcoming Jocelyn Mercado. Hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for having me as a part of your event. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm so glad you could be here too. Let me tell everybody a little bit about you. Jocelyn is a visibility and thought leadership coach, spiritual alchemist, and founder of Sacred Planet. She shares shamanic and alchemic wisdom to guide courageous seekers in how we can co-create a revolutionary new world in alignment with Mother Earth and the vast intelligence of the cosmos. After a successful 15-year career in corporate, working in finance for major multinational companies, Jocelyn thrust into a deep spiritual awakening. And it was that awakening which turned her life upside down, and from which she emerged with a powerful understanding of how to use her intuition and healing abilities, aspects of herself that she never had access to before. She dove deeply into earth-based and shamanic practices, and she has studied alongside elders and wisdom keepers ever since. Today, she works with visionaries, revolutionaries, and change makers from all around the world, guiding them to break free from everything that has held them back so they can joyfully offer their highest contribution to our collective future. And just on a personal note, Jocelyn is one of my dear mentors and teachers and has helped me discover my own gifts that want to come out right now. Her wisdom is infused in the essence of this summit, and it's with great honor and pleasure that I'm glad her joyful presence is here today. So, welcome, Jocelyn.
Oh, thank you so much for those beautiful words. You make my heart so happy. Thank you, Jen. Wonderful to be here with you.
You make my heart happy in lots of ways. So thank you for helping guide this, helping guide this energy and bringing this all together and helping me connect the villages also. So
yeah, it's so beautiful what you're creating here. I just love your wording, your topic, the fierce awakened woman. It's so powerful, so deeply needed in our world right now. So yeah, thank you for all you have done to create this.
Thanks. All right, let's dive in. I know we're going in a lot of great directions today. But I think it would be great if you take us a little bit through your journey from where you started from corporate to shamanic and alchemical wisdom. This is such a vast
yes
difference in fate, right? But I have a feeling that after COVID and during this year, like so many of us are starting to really wake up to the idea that there's something else, right? There's something more we can do, something else we can offer, something else we can bring to the world. So how did you make the leap?
Yes, right. Quite a leap it has been, and a leap and a leap and another leap and another leap. And as I was listening to you, share that brief bio version of my story, I was going back to those times, right? And I was thinking, wow, it's so interesting to sit now and reflect on that. And what I want to say, first of all, to everybody listening is that while you're in that process, you have no idea what is happening to you, right? So like, if my story had said, that it awakened these intuitive and healing gifts that I had never had access to before. But as that process was starting, I didn't know that's what was happening. All I knew was my world was falling apart. So I just want to say to everybody listening, if your world is falling apart, if things are really shaken up right now, if you know things are crumbling, or your life is just changing so dramatically that you don't know what to do, you're in the right place. Hold on for the ride. It is a roller coaster ride, this journey of saying yes to life. It will put you on the roller coaster like nothing else, but it it's so magical and it's so beautiful. And when you look back 2 years or 5 years or 10 years from now, you can see all that was meant to unfold, and you can really understand the deeper meaning behind everything that had to happen. So I kind of just wanted to say that as a little statement at the beginning.
Well,
uh,
but it is that saying yes, right? It's the saying yes to life. What does that look like? What does that mean? And you say like, how do you even know you're saying yes? How do
yeah,
you know that?
well, I can, yeah, let me give examples from what I experienced. I think that will be a really good illustration for some of it. So, I was in corporate. I had, at the point where I really took a major leap and quit my corporate job and started my business, Sacred Planet, that was in 2015. I had been in the awakening process since 2010 when my first daughter was born. She woke me up as I was holding her in my arms as a newborn baby. I realized I started questioning everything I'd been doing in my life. And what am I modeling for this little one? And what am I creating every day? Right. And it sent me on this way down into a deep depression, and then on a path of discovery and studying every culture, every religion I possibly could to try to figure out what made sense to me. So by 2015, I was emerging from that. I was writing a book. I knew I needed to start this business, Sacred Planet, but I didn't yet know exactly what that was all about. And I took a huge leap at that time to quit my corporate job. And it was because I was following my higher guidance. I had started a shamanic journeying practice, like a regular meditative practice of shamanic journeying that I would do, not every day, but about every other day. And I was starting to get messages, and I was starting to get information and guidance of, you should do this, your business will be called Sacred Planet, you need to go to New Mexico. All this information was coming in. And I had never had that experience before. And so when these kinds of things start happening to us, this is when we need to trust and surrender and say that sacred yes. So for me, it started with a message that came from one of those journeys of, you need to go to New Mexico. And the way that that came through was, every time I would go into this shamanic journey, I would see a huge snow-capped mountain off in the distance, and a river and scraggly trees here and pine trees behind me. And every time I went into that, the message was, you need to go to New Mexico. So of course, synchronistically, this chance to go to New Mexico popped up. It was from the Pachamama Alliance, who I was blogging for at the time. And so I said yes. And that was really my big first sacred yes, was this trip to New Mexico. And it was quite a thing for me to say yes at that time, because my kids were very small. I had never been away from them really. I didn't know what was going to happen in New Mexico. I didn't know what was going to unfold on my spiritual journey. So I went, and I expected New Mexico to be like cactuses and flat desert. Well, imagine my surprise when we came around this bend, driving from the Albuquerque airport into Taos, came around this bend, and there was the mountain that had been in my shamanic journeys for almost a year at that point. The mountain was there, and I realized I had been called to this place by this mountain, right? And I still get chills as I tell this story, because
I get goosebumps thinking about
this was the moment that truly I realized that magic is possible, that we are so deeply guided and protected, so much more than we can possibly know. And I started to feel the power of that yes that I had said, because if I didn't say yes to coming to New Mexico, I wouldn't have had that experience. And so it was later that year that I quit my job and started my business, because my guides said, it will be fine. your business will be successful. You can quit. And I was, I had been moving up the ladder for 15 years in corporate finance. I was doing well in that world. That was really big. It was quite a shock to my husband. Time.
Well, 'cause you were working at companies like at Cadbury and
Mercedes. Yeah.
Mercedes, right?
Cadbury and
And
Mercedes.
name brands that we would all recognize.
Yeah, yeah, big companies. So, yeah, but I knew I had to leave that. And it was just, for years at that point, I knew it was not resonating with my soul. It wasn't my path. So that was the next sacred yes, was yes to quitting my job and all the financial security and health insurance security. And, it's a big decision, right? I'm sure many of you out there are feeling that, thinking about this kind of question in some way. And I started my business, and actually started my business with an online conference summit like this one. And it brought in so much magic and so many incredible people that I needed to be connected with. I found through that event. And again, everything changed, right? It's like what I have learned is every time we say the sacred yes like this, we open a portal to a whole other reality, right? Where everything can change.
Yeah.
And so, things moved along, my business grew. Some of it is kind of miraculous, and that's also, this is a big thing that's happening right now, right? So now in 2021, when we say the sacred yes now, things can happen very rapidly, fall into place very quickly. The synchronicities, the new connections, the miracles come in much more quickly than they did even in 2015. So we're even more supported now, even more guided. And so I'm not saying everybody should run out and quit their job right now. Like, that's an individual decision each of us need to make, and consult with our guides, right? And consult with our savings account and all these things. But, there's real, true magic and miracles that can happen when we say yes at these key and critical moments. And it very often includes stepping way outside of what is comfortable for us. One other thing that I've said yes to on the journey is to the shamanic path. And when you say yes to the shamanic path, you really don't know what's going to happen
This is
in
altered. This is
a much
altered.
bigger way than I can express in words.
Yeah.
And so it was I think in 2018, I said yes to the shamanic path, and just the things that have happened, the events, the initiations, it's not always bright and shiny and butterflies and rainbows. There's a lot of dark nights of the soul that can come along. But all throughout, it's so important to have this trust and just surrender more, surrender more, surrender more, and allow what wants to come through us, right? Allow what wants to be birthed through us to happen.
And I find it so fascinating because I feel like where I am now at the edge of like 49, right? And I'm seeing 50 really close on the horizon. But I feel like our ideas of fierce have changed so much. And I also feel like it's a masculine word that women now need to own in a different way because the way we need to show up in the world is different, but it is still fierce. And in my 20s, it was sort of rebellious, right? It was like, oh, I'm going to break the rules or I'm going to do all my own stuff. And as I keep moving through life, the definition of fierceness now is, yeah, come back into me first, come into some meditation, do a journey inwards and be, sort of ready for whatever's happening, but really make sure that I'm aligned with that first, as opposed to just, well, and of course I'm saying impulse for freedom, but the impulse for freedom also comes from introspection. So I love that you found some of these breadcrumbs while you were in a meditative state, right? So you could hear that call.
Yeah, yes. Most of, I guess, pretty much all of the more wild and crazy actions that I've taken, the fierce actions that I've taken, have originated in a meditative space, or for me it's usually a shamanic journeying space, because that's really powerful for me to listen to. And what I mean by that, in case anybody listening that doesn't know exactly what I mean by that, shamanic journeying is where you listen to usually a drum beat. Sometimes now for me, I'll listen to certain kinds of music, but you want to listen to a sound that will allow your brain to drop into a theta brainwave state, which is a very deep meditative state. So with a drum beat, often we can drop really quickly into that theta state. And then you're very rapidly in connection with your guides, in connection with the higher intelligence of the cosmos, with the divine, however you see that realm, right? Those realms. So shamanic journeying, for me has been the most powerful. I was never able to just sit still for meditation and clear my mind. It never worked for me really in that way. But with the shamanic journeying, it's like you drop in, you call in a guide or multiple guides, and you go up into the cosmos, or you go down into the earth. And so I guess because it's a little more active, that is what really has worked well for me.
Well, and you know this, and I'll share this again here, but part of the inspiration for this summit came through one of your shamanic journey works, right?
Oh,
And
amazing. Yes.
the image of women running through a forest, and where were we going? Where were we all going together? So there
So
is certainly power in that, and it opens up that portal for the sacred yes. But what
definitely.
happens when you don't hear the yes, or you want to say no, or don't
Yeah.
know how to handle that decision of, is this a yes? Is this a no? Is it the time now? Is it not the time? When will the time be? If I save enough money, could I do it then? How do
Yeah.
you bring this sense of like fullness into the life in the decision that you're making?
Yeah, this is such a good question. And what we've all just been through in 2020 is a huge time period of not knowing, right? Not knowing what is actually going on in the world, and what's truth, what's lies. There were so many, if we look at astrology, there were so many retrogrades and so many eclipses in 2020 that it just kind of boggles the mind, and you can't see the way forward at all clearly. So I had this experience a lot in 2020. I should do this. No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't do this. Oh, wait, I should. And it's very confusing. And then there can be other factors too, that your family, maybe, this is something I also deal with a lot, that I am wanting to travel. I know I'm needing to be, focused on my work. I know I'm called to do this particular work where I need to be out in the world or on the computer a lot, but I have two young kids. My daughters are 7 and 10. So those two things are pulling in opposite directions, and they're both critically important to me, right? So probably a lot of people are feeling that with this decision of, should I follow my dreams or get my message out, or should I focus on my family who needs me, right? So these can be really confusing scenarios. So I think, this again is very individual to each person, right? So I can't just make a blanket statement. But what I think is most important is to get really, really clear on what is your daily practice that brings you into truth, and to really commit to doing that practice very regularly. Now, again, for me as a mom with young kids back in 2014, 2015, I couldn't do shamanic journeying every day. But every 2 or 3 days, I would make sure to do a good, like at least 20 to 30-minute journey. So whatever regular, means for you that is doable in your life, really commit to that. I feel it's very important as part of that practice to have certain guides that you can regularly turn to. And this will be part of the meditation that we do a little later, is to call in that guide that's going to help us really reach the fierceness and be able to make those decisions clearly. But there might be a new guide that wants to come in and help you. Maybe Archangel Michael, to just like cut through the not understanding, cut through the crap, and with his sword, and help you see clearly. Or maybe a tiger or a lion, right, bringing in this fierce love energy. So connect with a guide who can talk to you, who you can dialogue with, and who will bring in a different perspective that can help you see more clearly. I do feel that in 2021, astrologically, we are much more supported in moving forward in things, in being able to be decisive and see a lot more clearly. But we've kind of got to still clear out all that happened in 2020, cut and clear and release, right? And also be grateful for all that we've learned in 2020, because it's a lot. We've all been on these really deep journeys. But there is a lot more space just cosmically, from the universe, where we will be able to see more clearly in 2021. So I think that's going to help us all out a lot.
We certainly need, we need to feel that support now, right? Because I think, in some of the conversations I've been having, both for the summit and outside of here, there is this idea in the loss of women in the workforce right now because they've had to make choices to take care of their family. And how do you resource this? How do you really tap into the, just a really small practice every day that you can do, and lead that towards a bigger journey. I feel like this is so important now, is to just start wherever you're at and
Definitely, yes. And
do
I think one other piece here that's really important is to trust very deeply. Um, Again, it can feel like we're receiving conflicting information, like I should do this or I should do this, and they seem to be at odds with each other. So it can be hard to know what to trust. But even if you're in that space, to trust the bigger process that you're in, to trust that you are so deeply guided and protected, so much more than you could possibly realize, right? With our human minds, than we can even realize. And to get in connection with your heart. The heart also can be a guide. Our hearts are an amazing organ. In the ancient times, they really knew this. They really, like, if you look at ancient North American traditions, ancient Egyptian traditions, many different ancient traditions, they knew how important the heart was, because the heart, for one thing, it's in the center of the upper three chakras and the lower three chakras.
Mm-hmm.
So it connects us to both heaven and earth. So it is drawing in information and intelligence from both the above and the below. But it also holds what we know in our soul, right? From our past life learnings, from our wisdom that we've gained in this lifetime, and just what our body knows, like when we get a gut feeling about something, it's because the body knows something that we can't even register with our brains, right? But the heart knows all of that. So this is one other thing to do, is to, when you're in your meditative state, is to really connect in with your heart and dialogue with your heart. And you might be really surprised by some of the answers you can get in that space.
And, and how does this bridge to alchemy, right? We think of alchemy as this old, Merlin wizards
Archaic,
sitting
yeah.
around and, converting lead into gold and looking for the secret formula there. But it's really not, right? It's really,
So much more.
even in a parallel universe to shamanic journeying, it's a really curious way to access some sort of healing that we might need. What
Yeah.
what does it look like in 2021 alchemy?
Yes. Well, it looks better than ever. I, alchemy has been such a key part of my journey, and I didn't even realize it for the longest time. It really is very deeply connected to the shamanic, like, initiatory process, and this idea of saying the sacred yes and entering into the mystery. With alchemy, if we're following the steps of alchemy, there are 7 steps. It begins with the root chakra and Saturn, and we move up, and for every chakra there's a connected planet. Like, the heart is connected to Venus, the throat is connected to Mercury for communication. So at every step, every one of these 7 steps, we have a guide, a planetary guide, we have a chakra, and we move through these stages that go from lower to upper. And at every step, we are destroying the ego, releasing the ego more and more, and opening to the higher cosmic knowledge and understanding and intelligence. So the idea of turning lead into gold, which we picture, like, these people doing with the, in the old, kettles and medieval times and all this, it's really about turning spiritual lead into gold. And so with alchemy, what we do is we begin with something that we know we want to change, right? So maybe we have a deep, deep fear of something, or maybe we have significant money issues that we want to heal, or maybe we have a terrible relationship with our mother, right? And any of these kinds of things you can start with, and you set the intention to radically change and shift and heal this, whatever the problem is that you're starting with. And you say the sacred yes. And when you're saying that yes with alchemy, you're saying, I want to heal this. And whatever needs to happen as a result of that, I open to and I say yes to. And so what happens is you might start with, I want to heal these money issues that I have. And you end up like moving across the country and breaking up your old relationship and starting a new relationship. And, who knows, like all these other things will happen. And so by the end, as you move, again, remember, we're moving from the root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra. As you move through each of these 7 stages, you will see how everything that happens at each step is necessary and may seem completely unrelated to your original intention, but by the end of the process, you'll be like, wow, I really did heal all those money issues. And I revolutionized my entire life as well. So I hope this doesn't seem too abstract how I'm explaining it, but alchemy it's a really powerful process of saying yes to life that will catalyze the events that your soul most deeply needs to experience in order to do that healing. And so it can happen in ways that basically it comes through in ways you would never expect, but that are actually, if you look back on it a year later, you will see it's incredibly beautifully targeted to exactly what you most needed at that time.
And how do you start that kind of journey? Is that going back to like just creating the practice, or is it?
Well, there are many ways to do it. You can start by reading a book. You would need to learn a little more about it because there's so much that goes into that process, right? You would need to learn more about it to really understand how to proceed. So there are books about alchemy, which I could make a recommendation. I'm trying to remember the name of the author, but I'll get that to you. But I have a class that's called The Alchemy of the Wild Soul, which I highly recommend. It's a 7 session online course that you could check out, where I will guide you through that process in a really
It was
beautiful
a really great class. You find yourself in very strange places when you when you go down that in a good way, sort of like, okay, let me wander into this direction now and see where that goes. And
Yeah, and you really learn to trust and surrender. And you learn to say the sacred yes at these key and critical moments. And your life will be changed. If you do the steps, if you move through it, your life will be changed. So I do, I recommend having a guide for alchemy for sure. And I'd be very happy to be your guide.
do it. People sign up for her class. It will lead you into interesting places for sure. But
Yeah.
when you say words like trust and surrender, right? These are like, everybody says that, but what does it even feel like? What does that feel like in 2021 when we just left 2020 with all this uncertainty of not knowing anything, and now we know, okay, maybe we're more supported this year, but is that an impulse that it comes like a flash, or is it sort of a gradual thing? You can say, okay, well, I did that before and it worked out okay, so that was a good sign. I'll do it again. Okay, I can trust that too, right? How is it showing up? How's it showing up for you, and how are you seeing it show up this year?
Yeah. Well, so we have to find this balance between taking the appropriate actions, taking decisive and I would say fierce action,
Mhm.
and the surrendering part. So I'm trying to think how to best explain this, because when we say surrender, and what I want to say is surrender to whatever is happening for you right now. So it might be really beautiful right now. It might be really difficult right now. You might be just stuck in inaction right now. Whatever it is, trust that you're here for the right reason in this place right now and surrender. But as a part of that, we do need to take decisive action. And this is a really important part. So taking decisive action might be, really committing to that meditative practice every day, might be taking a class on alchemy or starting to read a book on alchemy, might be starting a new, like a shamanic journeying practice. That is a very, very powerful way to take a new action. It might be, sitting down with a spouse or a partner and saying, look, I feel like things need to change in some way. I feel like I need a new career, or we need to work on our relationship, right? Or whatever it is that is going on in your life. So think about, maybe we could do this just briefly right now, right? Let's just close our eyes, and I just invite everybody to drop your thinking mind, right? Where our mind is swirling with all these things. Allow that to just release and drop your awareness into your heart. And this space in the heart, it's a much quieter space than the thinking mind. So breathe into your heart. Take a deep breath into your heart space. And ask your heart, what is one important, fierce action that I can take in the next 2 weeks that will make all the difference in my life? And just listen. Just listen for the answer. And now take one more deep breath into your heart, saying thank you to your heart. And let's open our eyes again. And now this was very brief. So I want to say, if you heard something, trust it, do it in the next 2 weeks. Trust, and surrender. If you didn't hear anything, try this again a few more times. Maybe you're kind of distracted right now, right? Or maybe you have a big decision to make and there's a lot to think about right now and you can't fully settle in. Try this again until you hear a clear answer from your heart. And then when you get that clear answer, trust and do it. Because there's this, we've got to find this give and take, this balance between taking the decisive, fierce action, letting something new get set into motion. Like in 2021, we have all this Aquarius energy. We're truly entering into the Aquarius age on many levels. And so we have support in making big changes that will benefit us for the future, both personally and collectively. So I really do think this is a big year, that it's important to take some decisive actions to really shift some things that you know are not working. Once you shift things, it can get hard. It really can. But again, it's about coming back to trust, surrendering into what's happening, right? If it sends you into a place where you and your spouse now have to really work on these relationship things or make a big decision about stay together or not together, right? That's really hard. But stay in it and know that movement is positive, because you're going to naturally, once you set something into movement, once you take some kind of action to shift things, it's going to naturally guide you toward truth, even if that's difficult. So this is where it's like, take action and then surrender to what needs to take place following that action.
Yep. And then get ready for a ride.
And get ready for the ride. Yes. And this is the alchemical and shamanic journey.
Will you guide us into a meditation that transcends all of these limitations that we put around ourselves, and
Yes.
listen a little bit more to what our soul is calling for right now, truly and deeply.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I would love to share a beautiful image.
And you know what? While you're getting that image up, let me just tell people that you have a free gift, and then we'll mention it
Sure.
again at the end, just to make sure that people get it. And
Yes.
then we can go into meditation as well. And Jocelyn is very generously offering a venturing into the great cosmic ocean, awakening the starry knowledge within you. So it's a free online presentation in shamanic journey and practice. And it will be a journey into magical consciousness where we, bend time and space to reveal mystical truths hidden in the cosmic. Yeah. Thank you,
Yay. So
Jocelyn, for
excited to
offering
share
that. Would you
that.
like to add anything else just about that
Yeah, well,
offering?
I will share that if you, once you have this free gift, it's this beautiful presentation and shamanic journey, and I know you will love it. And after that, it will give you information about Alchemy of the Wild Soul in case you would want to continue working with me and doing that course. Of course, that part is totally optional. You're welcome to just do the free part if you want, but you'll get information if you're interested in the alchemy and diving into the alchemical journey afterwards.
Great. That sounds great. Yeah, all those links will be with this video and on the speaker page. And take advantage of it. It's really a wonderful awakening journey. And
Yes,
now, whenever you're ready, Jocelyn,
yes, I'm sharing.
this
There we go. It wasn't
great
showing up at
meditation.
first, but now it is.
Okay.
So this is the Milky Way over a beautiful, foggy, cloudy ocean at night. It's very this image really I feel it kind of can easily transport us into some very mystical places. So as we begin this journey, this meditation now, you can either gaze lightly at this image or you can close your eyes, whatever feels right to you. And also, I want you to know that you should get really comfortable. So if you want to lay down, if you want to sit, if you want to move about, any of those things are fine. Do what you need right now to be able to let this meditation and this deep space just move through you. So with your eyes closed or gazing lightly at this image, let's just start taking some deep breaths together. So breathe in, and once again, breathe into your heart. Really filling up, really feeling the miracle of your life force that comes in as you breathe the oxygen, right? Your heart is beating, your lungs are breathing. You're so alive, so vital at this moment. And then exhale, releasing that breath, just letting go of anything that you don't need right now. Releasing, relaxing. And I invite you to imagine yourself in a beautiful place in nature. Whatever place in nature comes into your awareness first, just trust that. And allow yourself to stand there barefoot with the sun shining brightly on your skin, warming your face, warming your skin, and feel your bare feet on the ground. And allow the earth to send you some beautiful pale green healing energy, the green that is the color of the first leaves in springtime. See this healing green energy coming up from the earth, going into the soles of your feet, and then circulating all throughout your body. And feel that every cell is being healed. The earth is our mother. She loves you as her precious, precious child. She always wants the best for you. So receive her healing. Allow it to flow through you. And then when you feel ready, call to your side a fierce guide. This guide is going to come in and enter into your life now to guide you to be a warrior for fierce love. in all that you do. So trust now, whoever shows up, might be an angel, might be an animal, it might be an ancestor, might be even a plant or a planet. Really trust whoever shows up at your side now. And as this guide shows up, you can thank them for coming here today. And now see opening up before your eyes a shimmering portal, a doorway into other dimensions and other realities, opening up, shimmering and sparkling before you. Now, your guide tells you, your guide is whispering in your ear and tells you, when you step through this portal, you're going to be able to leave behind all limitations and step into the fullness of who you are truly meant to be in this lifetime. And you're going to receive a glimpse of what you're meant to do next and who you are meant to become, with fierce love as your guide. So take a deep breath in now. Breathe in again, filling your lungs, filling your heart center. And breathe out, releasing, relaxing. And when you feel ready, go ahead and take this leap. And as you pass through the portal, just notice what happens. Notice what you feel as the limitations, the weight, the burdens of your current existence are lifted from you. And all possibilities open up and stretch out before you. And you might find yourself on a path. You might find yourself in outer space. Just trust whatever you see now. And travel forward with your guide. And go ahead and see and begin to experience yourself in the future, 10 years from now, doing your highest work, your highest calling in this lifetime. I'll give you a minute just to be with this future vision of yourself. Really allow yourself to experience the fullness, the most expansive version of what is possible for you. And as you're observing this, as you're experiencing this, your guide is going to lean in toward you and tell you a secret from the cosmic intelligence. So go ahead and listen in this important message from your guide. And now you can also ask your guide any question that you want. So go ahead, turn to your guide and ask this question and just listen Listen with your heart to hear the answer. And turn once again now towards this future vision of yourself, really taking it in, noticing your emotions 10 years from now as you're experiencing living your highest calling. Feel how it feels to be you in this future time and space. Let these emotions settle into your being now. Know that you are already becoming this future version. Know that truly all possibilities are available to you right now. And that when you come back from this journey, you will be ready to begin creating this. So go ahead now and ask your future self 10 years from now, what is the first and most important action step, fierce, decisive action that I can take? And just listen to hear the answer. Now thank your future self and turn with your guide. Travel back the same way that you came here. Travel back through that shimmering portal and stand once again on the earth in your beautiful place in nature with your guide by your side. And in this shimmering portal, which is still open just before you, appears a gift shining right there in the center of the portal. This is a gift from the universe, a clue for you to carry with you, to bring back and remember what happened here in this journey today. So go ahead, take this gift, hold it in your hand, notice what it is. Notice what deeper meaning it might hold for you. And tuck this gift away in your heart so you can always keep it with you. And now before your eyes, the portal is closing up. But it's important to know you can come back here at any time. You can come back, open this portal, call in this guide, and go and visit again as many times as you would like. Ask new questions, explore new possibilities. This is always available to you. So turn to your guide now. Thank this new guide and know that you will be continuing to work with this new guide in very powerful ways. This guide is here to help and support you in the major shifts that need to happen in your life in 2021 and beyond. So thank them and know that you'll see them again soon. And now begin to bring your awareness back into your body, into the present moment. Bring your awareness back to my words and your presence here as part of this beautiful online event. Take one more deep breath into your heart, breathing in all the magic of the sunlight and the oxygen and all the other beautiful life force energy around you. And then breathe out one more time, relaxing, releasing anything you no longer need. Just let it go. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Now, it's really good to take a moment and just maybe even pause the recording and just write down anything really important that came through. And remember to trust and surrender and know that it's all happening.
Jocelyn, that's always beautiful to do a meditation with you. It's always really, really whew, when surprising what shows up each time you do it, right? Something different might show up.
Absolutely. Yes. Wild messages we can get in these beautiful journeys.
Is there, what else you got going on? We know about your free gift, venturing into the great cosmic ocean, the online presentation, shamanic journey work. What else do you have going on this spring? What else do you
Yeah,
have
well, there's so much. I hardly know where to begin. But I think the best thing to do, I mean, so if you want to, you can come to my website, which is wearesacredplanet.com. So it's WEARE sacredplanet.com. I'm sure that'll be linked on the page here. Um, just come and check it out and see what resonates for you. On that website, I have a page called Online Courses. There are many different avenues to explore there. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So you can go there, check it out, see what resonates. Um, I offer one-on-one coaching, spiritual development, business development as well. I really think it's so important for us as entrepreneurs at this time to really be on, the spiritual journey must be one with the entrepreneurial journey. So that's one important thing I teach and coach about. And I offer all different online courses. I'm very guided by my guides. So when they say, okay, you need to teach a new course about this, then I say, okay, yes, I will. So if you go ahead and claim that free gift, venturing into the great cosmic ocean, you'll be on my email list and you can see whatever is new and sparking and fierce that I'm working on the latest thing. So that's probably the best way to connect.
No, and Jocelyn always has, you always have so many things going on. It's like, oh, okay, I can
That's
do this one. Okay, I can do that one. Oh, that's this date. Okay, there's a whole bunch. And
so
I do
possibility.
want to just say also thank you. You know, the communities that you create in your programs. Some of the speakers who are speaking at this summit are because I've met them through your classes or through your community. So it's a very
Beautiful
it's
to
a
hear.
very collaborative space and really open. So and you hold that space for people to make those connections. So yeah,
Definitely.
check out
Yeah,
Jocelyn's website.
the Sacred Planet community is full of visionaries and wild, fierce people and change makers. So it's a really good place to be, a great place to hang out. So yeah, come and see what resonates for you and join whatever part of that community really speaks to you. And I would love to see you over there.
Great. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thanks for being part of this and for your joyful presence in my life and now for all the people who are here.
Yay. Thank you so much, Jen. Always, always a pleasure to talk with you. And again, thank you for creating this incredible event. I know it's going to help and shift the lives of so many people out there. And it's just bringing so much wisdom and important information that we really need at this time. So, honoring you for all you've created here.